good day to you. I am the Baron of Bromides. I am the Wizard of Wisdom, and occasionally, and most poetically, I prefer the Prince of Positivity. Good day to you, and welcome to my channel. Before you do anything, please like and subscribe so that I can be right here on the world of YouTube, growing my business, growing this opportunity to the best of my ability as we share interesting information back and forth from the left to the right to the center. It doesn't matter to me. I'm here just for truth, literally, just to find out what the truth is about various situations that come up. Now, before you get it twisted about anything else, I'm very much down the center. I'm just here to ask questions. I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican. The closest thing that you could categorize me to politically is independent. Very much of an independent thinker. And so I'm here to listen to the considerations of anyone who, rescue me if I'm wrong, which I like to say a lot, has a better idea or a better thought than myself. So, from whatever part of the political spectrum you are, I welcome your comments and your feedback. Again, just like and subscribe, and then post your comments, and then let's talk about what it is and what's going on. So, what is on my mind today? Interestingly enough, it is I'm interested in Canada and what's going on there. Um, I'm sure that you've heard that the President of the United States, well, before he was even elected, was making a lot of noise about tariffs and going off on our trading partners, the ones that we trade with the most, both Canada and Mexico. Canada is very near. I've been to both countries. I hope you have too, both wonderful countries. And I spent a lot of time, especially though, in Canada. A little bit about my background. I am very partial to Canada to a certain extent. I grew up in upstate New York in a place called Buffalo, New York, right along the Canadian border. And so, many cities in the wonderful province of Ontario are very, 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 very important to me. There's Fort Erie, Ontario, Niagara Falls, Ontario, London, Ontario, Hamilton, Ontario, and of course Toronto, Ontario. So I've spent a lot of time in those particular areas, and I think I have a fairly good feeling for the pulse of a lot of the Canadian people that I've met, come across. Oh, of course, Crystal Beach, Ontario. Can't forget you. Big shout out to Crystal Beach. Wonderful place where I used to spend a lot of my summers as a kid. So I'm wondering what it is that the president and, of course, his supporters are expecting when you, shall we say, I don't know, insult a sovereign nation that has stood alongside of you for many, many years. And I'm wondering how you think they'll react to threats and basic intimidation. I don't expect that it'll go well. I know that the Canadian people that I grew up with and have had many years and many consultations with and great relationships with are going to be very patriotic and rally to the defense of their nation. Even the president, I should say, the present Prime Minister of the wonderful country of Canada, Mr. Justin Trudeau. I know he's, I guess in the terminology, a lame duck because he's said he's finished now. He will be leaving, and there's going to be an election there to have his successor named. When I was growing up, his dad, Pierre Elliott Trudeau, was the Prime Minister of Canada, and he was very, very much well respected. Came through my hometown when I was a kid a couple of times, so I really, really had a lot of admiration for him. So you fast forward to now, and I'm just wondering, what is it that there's an expectation of when you are threatening your partners? I mean, we have this free trade agreement which was hammered out between the United States, Canada, and Mexico. Um, in the purest sense, it's been very good as far as trade and business, going cross borders, basically going all across the North American continent. It's a success story in pure economic terms. Um, so I'm wondering what the end game is. And those of you who are really wise and smart out there, smarter than myself, please, help me. As I said, rescue me if I'm wrong, but it seems to me that that's the wrong track to take. I mean, for instance, let's see what Mr. Trudeau, who, of course, Justin Trudeau is the present Prime Minister, what's he saying right now?
Play it. Of course, if the president does choose to proceed with tariffs on Canada, Canada will respond. And everything is on the table. Working in unison with Team Canada, as Team Canada, with business leaders, organized labor, civil society, Indigenous leaders, and premiers from coast to coast to coast, we are prepared for every possible scenario. In fact, just last night, I spoke to Premier Ford in his capacity as chair of the Council of the Federation, and he reiterated his unwavering commitment on behalf of Canadian premiers to working all together. This is an important and challenging moment for Canada and for Canadians. And we know there will be many such moments. Through all of it, I want to be clear that we have Canadians' backs. Now,
Wow, we have Canadians' backs. So that was the Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, making it clear that perhaps some of the statements that have been made by the president and some of the people that are in his, shall we say, his supporters, that he's going to show them and he's going to turn things around. And, I'm just saying, it's human nature that the more you try to push somebody into a particular corner, the more they may want to push back. And I'm not sure how healthy this is for the long-term relationship moving forward of the United States. So you tell me. I'm very interested to hear what you have to say. I think this is a tactical error. It seems to me that if you have friends with whom you are trading with and doing great business with, that you try to come to some accommodation. You negotiate with each other to make sure that you're doing business which is good for me and good for you, good for you and good for me. And then that's how we proceed. You don't insult, you don't denigrate, and then you don't basically try to say 2 for me and 1 for you, 3 for me and 1 for you, 4 for me and 1 for you. That sounds like where we're trying to go as a nation. I'm not sure if you've heard about it, but there are a lot of nations out there that are not really happy with where we're trying to do business. You've heard, I'm sure, somewhat of these BRICS nations. BRICS, if you're not aware of that particular term, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, they represent a number of nations who are, shall we say, fed up with the present economic global order and are formulating their own. Now with the advent and inclusion in partnership or full membership of Indonesia with their almost 300 million people, there's the most populous country in Africa, Nigeria, which is now at least a junior partner. Even Cuba, yes, Cuba, down in the Caribbean Sea, the wonderful island Cuba down there, is also a full member of this BRICS organization. So it seems to me that this BRICS conglomeration of nations, when you do it based upon population, the amount of population in the world presently is something like 8 billion or so. Approximately close to 60% of that 8 billion of the entire world population is represented by these BRICS nations, not the so-called G7 or Western powers. So the friends that you have, shouldn't you be more friendly to the friends that you have? I'm not sure, but I digress.